Yo, they're selling stories like beachside snacks, wrapped in lies, but we got the facts. They're dropping spins, but we're dropping the mic. Westward's here, better get it right. Westward we rise, yeah, we're taking the crown. Truth's on the move, lies are going down. The beach is ours, the rebels unite. Westward independent, fighting the good fight. Oh, look, another headline twist. They're bending the truth like it's yoga class bliss. We're out here digging while they play pretend. Journalism's alive, yeah, the real kind, my friend. They surf the trends, we ride the wave. Westward's here and we misbehave. Westward we rise, yeah, we're taking the crown. Troops on the move, lies are going down. The beach is ours, the rebels unite. Westward independent, fighting the good fight. Cancel truth, but we said no more. The castles crumble, swept out by the tide. Westward's here, we don't run, we ride. Westward we rise, yeah, we're taking the crown. Truth's on the move, lies are going down. The beach is ours, the rebels unite. Westward independent, fighting the good fight. Yo, hands in the air, let's hear the roar. They try to cancel truth, but we said no more. The castles crumble, swept out by the tide. Westward's here, we don't run, we ride. Westward we rise, yeah, we're taking the crown. Truth's on the move, lies are going down. The beach is ours, the rebels unite. Westward independent, fighting the good fight. Oh, the sun sets on the big charade. Westward's anthem, truth never fades.
Hello, hi, welcome. And we're just here to do a quick update. And I'm sure most of the people know the ostrich story because it's been on every media platform, even down into the United States, which has been amazing. And our little journey was we got a call from Serena Winterburn and said, oh my goodness, this is a really time sensitive issue. And so we scrambled and we were like, oh my goodness, we have to get this on. And so we did on I think it was the 18th. And we put out a full long live stream. And then Katie had messaged me and she said, oh, I just, can you help me find a lawyer? And I thought the only person I know in the world that could actually help would be Kari. So thank goodness Kari jumped on board because I don't know if this would have happened if not. But there's a lot of stories and there's a lot of updates on places like BC Rising and SaveOurOstriches.com. But tonight we just wanted to do a quick update on the legal parts of this because a lot of people don't understand what happened. What does that stay mean? So I'm just going to pass it over and get some of the legal updates for people to Kari.
Hi, Adrian. Thanks for connecting again. And one day I think we're going to have to do just, clearly a documentary about this. But on behalf of you and Serena, I mean, you guys were the foundation of which a number of miracles have taken place throughout this story. And one day we'll share all of those little things that go beyond coincidences. Clearly, there's something afoot here that's much bigger and more important. And all those miracles continue on a day-to-day basis. We are in a fight for not only the lives of these ostriches, but I think for humankind and the animal kingdom and moving forward on how we do and approach medicine, our relationship with government. I think people now know that the claims of wanting to act in public health, the good of the public, really doesn't mean that everybody's lives is important to the government, that definition is very different. And clearly we're seeing that play out more and more with this case involving the ostriches. So as your viewers probably know, we went to court on January 31st. Now, what happens in cases like this? There is a process in the courts called judicial review. So when an administrative tribunal, so that can be your school board, that can be the BC Human Rights Tribunal, that can be your local town council. So those are administrative bodies, and they act under the Administrative Tribunals Act. What that does, because like in court, you have an appeal process, you actually have an appeal process through administrative decisions. So when the farm got the cull order on January 31st, that was an administrative decision that now falls under our ability to seek in the court something called judicial review. You typically have 30 days from the date of that tribunal decision, so the date that the Universal Ostriches was served with the cull order, to make an application to the courts, or at least let the courts know that you are going to be wanting a hearing for judicial review. So you file your notice for judicial review. Typically then your case is heard within 3 or 4 months. In this case, what we had to do because of that cull order that was for February 1st, we went to the court and said, look, we have filed for judicial review, but in the meantime, we need a stay of execution, literally, here until such time as the judicial review can be heard. And that is what Justice Batista gave us. He said, okay, I'm giving you an injunction until such time as the matter be heard. Now, this case literally hour by hour changes and pivots. First thing we heard, so typically that means we would have a hearing within, 3 months, say. Immediately this, following the successful application for the injunction, we were notified by the Department of Justice lawyers. So Department of Justice acts on behalf of the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, and informed our lawyers that they wanted an expedited hearing. They don't want us to have the 3 to 4 months because, of course, the longer that these ostriches remain healthy, thriving, the more damning the indictment is against the conduct of this agency. So we were notified this week that they were going to be seeking an expedited hearing. That information apparently was filed in the court today. So next week we have an appearance before the court. It'll either be on Wednesday or Thursday, where they will make what is called a motion to have an expedited hearing. In other words, they want it but before the end of February. So somewhere late in February is my understanding of what they're asking for. We can argue against that. And there's lots of good reasons to argue against that. But again, ultimately, it will be over the presiding justice to make that determination of whether the expedited hearing is set for the end of February or we get, into March to prepare better. I have to say, with the team of experts, and, I have never, in all my years of putting together complex legal cases and challenges to governments on various things, been witness to so many good people coming forward, whether it's the legal team, whether it's the science team, whether it's the expert and poultry team. I mean, the people on social media, we call it the Ostrich team, right? The big O team. So many people have just dropped their everyday existence to make sure that what happens here has number one, transparency, that people are watching, and the world is watching. So we're here at this point now. We'll find out next week. So Wednesday or Thursday, everybody, there will be another update. But here's the latest twist. The family, well, there's a couple of latest twists. So now CFIA has again dropped another series of orders upon this family. So again, this is very rural BC. There's waterways, there's ponds. So one of the orders is that this family now has to put netting over all the ponds on their property, basically. Okay, let's think about this. Okay, what kind of netting do we use? You know, are small birds going to get caught in it? Are they going to die? How do you prohibit wildlife like mice and rats from, you know, accessing the water? What if large birds of prey get caught in the netting? You know, all these kinds of things. Oh, and then there's that small factor about grizzly bears that might think this is just a new toy. Do we have a grizzly proof netting system? But the ultimate funny aspect of this, and this is how ridiculously absurd these people are. The reality is that it's minus 18 right now, and all the waterways are frozen solid. So nobody can access the water anyway. You know, and it just goes on and on. Now they want the birds separated. So no more love happening between the roosters and hens. This is the breeding season. This is when they're laying their eggs coming up. This is when love is literally in the air for these, you know, big, beautiful ostriches. And now they want the family to separate them. They want them to put up fencing. Well, of course, the ground is frozen. You know, this is, and then barns. So we're supposed to build a barn overnight. You know, this is what's going on. So in addition to all the stress that the family has already had to endure, this is just dropped on them within yesterday. Then we learned later today that the court is interpreting Justice Batista's injunction order as meaning the family doesn't have to kill the birds, but they are asserting that they have the right to come in at any moment and kill all those ostriches. So this, like I said, every day, every minute, every hour, this changes.
You know, there was a really good comment in our chats here. Someone just said the process is the punishment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it feels like. And I think that, you know, from when they said that they wanted to take all of their eggs and everything from their property, and now you're fighting back, they're looking really bad. The longer, like you said, the longer that they're happy and you know, living great, healthy lives, the worse they look. And it's going to set a precedent. Doesn't matter where, but around the world, it's going to show, you know, look at them. They're fine. Like they would have died by now. We all know that. That's how this thing works. And so I feel like, you know, if they're trying to expedite this, that's one of the reasons, is like you said, is it so that it seems like, you know, that you can't show they lived for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, whatever it is, but also less time for you to prepare. Is that what you think? Like, do you have a lot to prepare, or do you think you already basically have all the facts needed because of the science team and legal team?
Yeah, I think under normal circumstance, anybody would be panicking, but the caliber and quality of our experts and the science team that has come forward and the level of demand to do things different. You know, the whole poultry industry knows that this business of mass slaughter of healthy animals is not solving the problem. So this is an opportunity to look at maybe a different way of actually doing something. So if the better health for humans and better health for animal and livestock and all the stakeholders within the poultry industry is truly at the forefront of the interest, you think they would embrace this opportunity to study these birds? Why aren't they getting sick anymore? You know, why hasn't one died? Why are none symptomatic? Why did the birds that were sick get healthy? Like, there's so many opportunities here. So the only conclusion you can come to is one that is not in the interest of these ostriches, one that is not in the interest of having a healthy food supply that is cost efficient, so consumers, meaning people, can afford to buy food. And certainly it's not in the interest of humankind if these ostriches offer a better science and a better approach to disease and pathogens. So, you know, clearly we cannot say that they're acting for the benefit of anybody in this. So whose benefit are they acting in? And I think those answers are clearly evident here. So
Right. Go
yeah,
ahead. Sorry.
you asked about the timing. So I can tell you that every other day I'm on Zoom calls with top scientists from around the world, and we are prepared. Like, of course, the more time we have, the we can just bring in more experts and more experts and more experts. But I do think we have a good team at this time, and I think we have access to the right information. Clearly, what these scientists would like to do is to test the birds, right? Well, I mean, what a novel concept. Let's go see if they've built natural immunity to this declared avian flu that the CFIA has defined as the problem. Why are they so resistant to having the truth about the health status of these birds? So they're prohibiting any form of testing. So people go, well, why don't you just test the birds? Because this family, if they allow any form of testing to take place, they face a $200,000 fine and or 6 months in jail. And one thing we learned from COVID is they will put people in jail. They will do those kinds of things. So, we have a good case as long as we can keep the birds alive until we get before the court again. And then we have a judge who isn't going to take judicial notice of things. Certainly, I think we're at a time where the good judges are more taking notice of maybe they were lied to as well about what went on, like from COVID and such. So there's a few things that are in the benefit of having such a highly related scientific case before the courts right now. So I can tell you the team of experts, the people that we're working with are just amazing. Top eminent scientists. And I think they're going to blow the position of the CFIA away, provided we get that opportunity to keep the birds alive until such time as that information can be heard.
So that's the ultimate goal through this court system, is that these experts and the lawyers that you have on board, their argument is going to be able to say that the original order was not factual, not legal, like something like that is what they're trying to overturn, the original cull order.
It really doesn't have any relevancy at this point because it was all built upon, dying birds. Right now, the birds aren't dying. Like the whole fact pattern has changed now as far as what is going on here. And of course, the opportunity to better science on this, right? This is an opportunity that the world will never have again, Adrian. This thing that's happening in Little Edgewood, BC, can be the leading edge research for better science, better approach to diseases. Maybe we shouldn't be injecting people with all kinds of concoctions. Maybe the better way is allowing, what I call best immunity, natural immunity, to become the barrier to these kinds of diseases. If we don't allow the living organisms that we have, i.e. humans in this case, or ostriches, to build the better immunities within their systems, we become vulnerable to all kinds of things.
Right. And that was one of the things that came to my mind, was the fact that, we were told that natural immunity didn't exist for 4 years there, or whatever. But also the fact that the only ones that were affected or that passed away were the young ones. And so it's quite a case now to show that these older birds who have been in interaction with whatever it is, whether it's a bacteria or who knows what it is at this point, they have built up that immunity. So if you slaughter the older birds and you just bring in new baby birds, then you're actually killing that generational type of immunity to them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of things on that front. So, anyone, that is in animal breeding knows that you breed for certain things. I had a pony that was just one of those special ponies who was super safe around kids, gentle disposition, great feet, healthy. People wanted his babies because he passed genetically on those traits. Here, if we want to have, if they kill these ostriches and say, okay, you can start over again, what you've done is you've wiped out the strongest breeding genetics possible that you could establish for birds to already be, well on their way to being immune from contracting this disease again. So instead you bring in babies who've had no exposure. They call this naive genetics, right? And they're vulnerable to everything that these birds have already encountered, some in 34 years. It makes no logical sense. So, I see one of the chat questions is maybe factory farming should be incentivized. This is another aspect of what is wonderfully happening through this. These ostriches, not only have they brought the world together on this, they've brought the industry stakeholders that are looking at those things. When you look at these mass chicken barns with hundreds of thousands of chickens in each one, the stress levels, the no sunshine, are these factors that are contributing to them being more vulnerable? Are there better ways for giving them the advantage of remaining healthy? Do we need to reduce numbers in the barns? Do we need to, open up the roof and let the sun shine in, kind of thing? All these discussions, Adrienne, are happening because of these ostriches.
Right.
And you get to take a lot of credit because you, through just being concerned enough and finding people that could help this family, have now kept this conversation alive. We would not be talking about all of these amazing things moving forward if in fact people hadn't cared enough to become involved and stand up and save these ostriches. So everyone who's done a letter, told another person about what's going on, donated to the legal fund, everyone gets to take credit for all the good things that are happening as a result of this discussion. And it far and exceeds just keeping these 400 ostriches alive. I'll one day share with you all the discussions that are going on, as I say, in the top industry stakeholders, cattlemen, poultry farmers, about doing things better. And that means better for the animals, and that means better food supply for all the humans.
Oh, it's fabulous. This is it's been such a whirlwind for you. I know.
It's been busy.
You don't even know what day it is, I'm sure. And I think that because of the global attention that it's got, it like you said, it's just branching off into these other aspects of actual farming. Every day people are sending me posts of millions of, ducks and chickens being just slaughtered, and some of them, this one farm was a, generational farm, like ducks from back to, I don't know, the 1920s, they're heirloom ducks. And so I think it's gotten to the point where even the mainstream people are starting to ask questions. So I think that your legal thing, that's why I want to keep up with the legal part of this, because it's going to set a precedent.
Well, we have already done that. Nobody has ever been able to get an injunction. So that's one down, probably 50 more to go, at least, but we're going in the right direction at this point.
And so can they appeal some of the silly orders like the netting, just out of, for the fact of the reason that it's actually logistically not possible, or do they just have to go along and do this in order to keep them off their backs?
Well, you can't. We're going to ask them what kind of netting do they suggest that is grizzly proof. They want this. They have to give us the answers. The family's more than happy to cooperate. Right. So the good news about this, though, is every order that they bring down like this gives us another 30 days for judicial review, right?
Oh, okay.
But of course, the position is now they kind of caught on that we caught on to that. So now today their position is the injunction doesn't really stop them from killing the birds. It just let the family off the hook, right? So that's where we're at.
Is there a possibility that they would just show up on the property?
Any moment, they have the right to do that. In their minds, they think so. Now, are they willing to piss off the courts and all the rest of it? I don't put anything past any government agency at this point. They don't, they want to believe they have godlike autonomy without any accountability. I think the public outrage, but again, the public outrage only has power as long as we can keep the outrage alive, right? And so everybody, that is part of this, the big O team, I call it, needs to, make a pact with themselves that this, regardless of outcome, regardless of what happens, I will not stop fighting, because there'll be a lot to fight about if they kill all those beautiful ostriches. There will be a lot to fight about if, in fact, we continue to win, because we then have to get changes, right? No other farm should have to go through this. The family farm with the heirloom ducks that you talked about, they didn't have the resources or the people to fight this. And look at, I know what an army of people we have between the social media team, the legal team, the research team. There's researchers working 24 hours a day in some cases as we head up to court, making sure that the science is there. The scientists, I'm getting documents at 4:00 in the morning from these top eminent scientists. That's how dedicated and committed everybody is to this. But I think we have to remain committed every day, regardless of what happens, to bring about the changes necessary. This is the only opportunity we are going to have to do this. The opportunity now to secure our food supply sovereignty. Like, people have a right to food security, Adrienne. I don't think most Canadians and British Columbians, everybody knows something's up, but what's up is really quite nefarious when you see on the broader picture what they're doing, bringing in the identity premise program through all the provinces. It's enforced. They're just not enforcing it right now. And that's, so everybody with, including those people with 4 chickens in their backyard, has to report everything to the provincial government. Every, edible, living, breathing animal you have on your property, they want to track, right? The livestock tracking, cows, bison, deer, goats, pigs, sheep, all now have to have UHF tags in their ears, and they're all being tracked, right? So those poor animals, the tags are constantly re-energized through the towers, and they're talking. I actually looked to see what these poor animals are feeling, because those ear tags must get hot, if you're constantly rebooting them, right? And they go, I found one little thing. Yeah, there seems to be heat sensitivity problems. Nobody wants to talk about how, brutal that would be for a cow to have that big yellow tag in its ear, beaming up information and receiving information. So these are transmitters, right? So.
Yeah, they just did that. Actually, I just wrote an article. They just did that with horses, and a lot of people in the equestrian field are not happy about that, for sure. But so I can just see here, they want to expedite it. So the legal part of this is that they want to get expedited. The next thing you have to go in is challenge this expedition order, right?
Right.
And if they were to show up on their property, they would be going against the judge's current order.
That's our position. They seem to have taken a different position now, but I think anyone understanding what the intent of Justice Bastista's, injunction is that shouldn't happen, right?
Okay. So now we'll just be waiting to get the updates on all the legal parts of this as it goes. Like you said, it's fluid. It changes by the day. They keep sending in different silly, requests. And I think, and also, obviously, this is going to be costing money. So when people are going to be donating, do they go to the saveourostriches.com? Is that where they can find out how to donate?
Yeah, there's the donate buttons. And right now and hopefully by Monday, there will be a dedicated website for this whole campaign. But even now, you can go to that URL, saveourostriches.com. It'll take you to the page. BC Rising has been awesome in helping us just post to get the information out. But all those buttons, the donation button and the e-transfers, all go to the legal, 100% to the legal fund at this point, which I think we're already at $45,000 cost. We have a team. War is not cheap, people. But if everybody can help and contribute, we'll get this done. Talk about this with your friends. I hope by next week we'll have little information cards You can purchase 100 of them. Just say I'll hand them out in my community. Go to businesses, let everybody know what's going on. The people's grapevine, I call it the people's grapevine, is the best way to transmit information and get people aware of things. So that card will give people where to go, how to get more information. People are wanting to help in this case. This is just amazing to see the caliber and quality and all these great people coming together and making a difference. So stay informed, stay in tune. There'll be events happening up by the farm on a regular basis. So as the weather warms and you want to travel and see probably one of the most beautiful areas of British Columbia, and there are lots, but Edgewood, everybody who's been up there comes back here. It's so beautiful up there. So camping, there's a field where they set up on the February 1st because we didn't know if we were going to go to war or be celebrating. I think there was about 120 people camping out there. It was a great time. So we'll do a few more of those events as well.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's inspirational. It's, when we want to get stuff done, we get it done. It's just people from all over. And I think the biggest thing is the people don't understand is regardless of all the volunteer hours put in by people, we actually need to pay people. So hopefully, $5, $10, whatever it is, from the thousands and thousands of people that watch this on all different platforms, can just chip in, just even a little bit. It takes a couple thousand of us to give.
So many people, $10, $100, it all adds up pretty quick when everybody's chipping in. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So we're going to keep promoting for people to go to the new saveourostriches.com website when that comes up. And then we'll just do like what we have been doing. If there's any critical updates, we'll just post it on our Substack. It's coap.ca. And we'll just keep the story alive. As you said, you can't let it die out. There's so much else that we're fighting for right now. But this is so poignant. Like it's one of those things that people can get sidetracked. And I know that I'm going to be doing other things and other podcasts, but this we have to keep alive. I think there's a global reason to keep this alive. It's a war on our food. And it is also the internet of all things, which is the connection and the tracking and tracing of everything. And so let's just keep this alive. And everyone just, people a bit, I see a lot of my friends, they've changed their profile pictures to the Save the Ostriches and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's so great. And
social media, we give every day, there's new things to post and put and share, post and share, post and share, post and share. Even just doing that does so much. And this is what people, Kari, I don't feel like I'm doing enough. Posting and sharing is huge, right? To your audiences. Join other groups. If you're on Facebook or X, join other groups that are engaged in social activism. And then you get to reach, there are 5,000 people, guys. There's lots of things to do and keep getting the information out. We try to bring, the ostrich pictures to everybody too, because these ostriches they each have their own soul, their own personality. It's amazing to be part of this. Whoever thought we'd all become experts in ostriches? And we will test everybody at some point.
I just, it's a wonderful story so far, and I hope it'll continue to go that way, because as with most things, the more media attention you get, the more outrage globally you get, the better it is. The better it is for the outcome of what happens. And like you said, the duck people, they didn't have the team that surrounded the Universal Ostrich Farm. So I just thank you so much for all of your sleepless nights and all the hard work and all the connections that you have from all the other fights you've done to be able to bring these experts together. And so I look forward to just continuing to keep people updated on the legal things, or if they're sending silly letters, of things that they're supposed to be doing. And we'll just keep it alive. And so I thank you very much. I just wanted to, a quick legal recap. And then we'll just continue to keep the story going. So thank you so much, Kari.
Yeah, well, and thank you, Adrian, and all your viewers. I know you guys just don't listen, you act. And so thank you. It's that kind of commitment and those kinds of actions that truly make the difference here. So my pleasure, as always.
Teamwork.
Teamwork.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. And you can just share this if people, a lot of people are asking about the legal part of this. That's why we wanted to set some of that straight. And obviously, it's not the end. We'll hear more about the legal updates by the week, I'm assuming.
Or midweek too. Midweek. Things are, trust me, Adrian, they're happening. But everything will be on saveourostriches.com. You know, if there's new movement, you know, and I'm trying to get to the point where I'll just do a video when there's a new update to put on social media, and people can share that, and that
we can share it around
everything. Yep. And then you know how to track me down. So always happy to be with you to tell your viewers what's going down.
Perfect. Thanks again. Have a wonderful night. Get some sleep.
Yeah. Yeehaw, Friday night.
Yeah. All right. Take care, everyone. Good night.